This is Smart Poker Study episode 206, Poker Study Apathy, and playing Jack 10 offsuit. In last week's episode number 205, I discussed the 5 key concepts that every fresh-faced poker student must explore. It's poker study time, y'all! So thank you very much for joining me this week and for sharing the show with your poker friends. Your sharing out there on the socials by that word of mouth, that's what helps this show grow, and I truly do appreciate it. And oh man, I just gotta say, it's such a bummer. I am not watching The Walking Dead anymore. As you know, I've spoken about it on the podcast before. I even had a podcast with my brother where we discussed each new episode as they hit. Talked about old episodes too. I used to love The Walking Dead. But yeah, you know, I'm just done with it. The first episode of season 9, it came out, and I really have no desire to watch it. It's really not interesting anymore. And I think a big part of the issue with me, or for me, is that in seasons 7 and season 8, there were so many illogical decisions made by the various characters on the good guy's side, on the bad guy's side. It just blew my mind why the characters would be doing the things that they did, and it just really pulled me out of the show every time somebody did something incredibly stupid. So I just really can't bring myself to watch season 9. What a shame, though. What a freaking bummer. I love that show. But speaking of something that is definitely not a bummer, those are my Patreon supporters. They followed through and they supported me for another month of October. And I really do appreciate it, you guys. Thank you very much. So if you want to support and follow along with everyone else on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/smartpokerstudy. There are different levels of support with different rewards attached. So please jump on in. The October Patreon waters are just fine. And I've got a couple of Patreon only podcast and a video coming out soon, both about exploiting your opponents in various ways. So visit patreon.com/smartpokerstudy to start your support. So it is Q&A time. We have 4 of them today from JP, Max, Tony, and Anish. So please visit today's show notes for everything I discuss, along with screenshots and links at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod206. And while you're there, please sign up for the weekly boost for exclusive poker strategy direct to that inbox. Alrighty, let's roll. Gambate!
Now look, this is gonna get weird, all right? It's pretty freaky, but it's safe. There's no reason to be scared.
Oh, no, Daddy don't get scared.
Really? Good.
So the first question today comes to us from Max, and it's about poker study apathy. Here's what Max said in an email. At the moment, I have a personal poker coach to teach me, and things are starting to go well. But the thing is, it's hard for me to study independently. I treat studying like a necessary second job that I have no passion for. It's easier for me to grab my smartphone and play a shooting game for an hour instead of studying poker. I wish it was the other way around. Also, I bought a lot of poker books, and How to Study Poker Volume 1 is one of those, but never read them all the way through. But with all this, I still want to play and advance in poker. Thanks for your advice. Well, thank you for the super good question, Max. I really like it. Poker study apathy, I think, is something that everybody suffers from, at least occasionally. Some of us from it, 100%. We never study at all, you know. And my guess is truthfully that of all the poker players out there, 95% of them probably have some form of poker study apathy, where they don't study at all. They study once a week. They only study when someone forces them to, like a coach, something like that, you know. And that's why I think most poker players are losing players, you know, losing to break even. But if you do not study, you're just not going to improve. You're not going to build your skills to make this a super profitable game. And I think if you study at least a couple days a week, you're going to be better than 95% of your competitors who don't put in any time at all. So really, you know, the time that you put on off the court, if they're, the time you put into studying off the court, if they're just watching movies or playing games for themselves off the court, and then you guys meet on the court, I shouldn't even be saying on the court or off the court, on the felt, you are going to, eventually your skills are going to prevail and you're going to be making money from them. So I have 3 things for you, Max, and for everybody else to help you study more. Even if that poker apathy remains while you're doing these 3 things, at least you're working to improve your game. And I think eventually, once you start studying more and you see how your studies affect your play and you're making better decisions, you're making more money, I think poker study apathy starts to dwindle off. So here's the first thing I recommend. Commit to just 10 minutes with one full hand reading practice every single day. And by doing just 10 minutes every day, sometimes your studies are going to extend well beyond the 10 minutes because you find something interesting or a question pops in your mind and you want to look for the answer. So maybe on, Monday through Friday, 5 days in a row, you do 10 minutes of hand reading each day. And then you put the books down and then just start playing some poker. Well, that's 50 minutes right there that you just spent this week. How much time did you spend studying last week? My guess is nowhere near 1 hour, right? So those 5 days at 10 minutes a day, it's better than doing nothing. But maybe on the 6th day, you read a hand like involving 7-6 suited, and it makes you think, how profitable am I with suited connectors? So this question pops in your mind. You want to find the answer. So you simply spend the next 30 minutes going through your database and you find the only profitable suited connectors are ace-king suited and king-queen suited. You botch all the rest and you lose massive amounts of money with those weaker suited connectors. Now, just knowing this problem exists, it's going to help you. But then you decide on day 7 that you're going to look for an article, a video, or a podcast all about suited connectors. Bam! Your 10 minutes per day yielded some valuable information, and it turned into something that you're eager to pursue, and your study apathy has been pushed to the side, at least for now until something else captures your interest in the future. Here's the second thing I recommend. Listen, read, or watch one interesting piece of content and put one thing from it into practice. So if you subscribe to a poker site newsletter like mine or Alex Fitzgerald's or Black Rain 79's, or maybe you subscribe to podcast or you watch every one of Split Suit's videos that comes out on his YouTube channel, you'll be sent word of brand new content every single day. You want to choose one item that day, study it, then put one thing from it into practice in your next play session. I tell people that the best way to study is to choose one topic per week and pursue only that. But that doesn't work for everyone, especially for somebody who just has no desire to study, even though they know how beneficial it could be. So studying just one piece of content per day and putting something into practice, it's going to help you more than not studying at all. And here's my third recommendation. You said, Max, that you bought a ton of books, but you never finished any books. I recommend that you pick the most relevant book to you and you study one chapter per week. Now, this is something that I recommend in How to Study Poker Volume 1, and it's really easy to do. In the book, I give you a detailed way to practice and study one chapter at a time, but all you really have to do is read the chapter on day 1 of the week, take notes, and purposefully practice one thing from the chapter each session that you play that week. Bam! You've just read the book one time, or read the chapter one time, but then if you play 5 sessions that week, you put 5 different things into practice that you learned from that one chapter. This is so much better than reading a book in 5 days and putting almost nothing into your skill set at all. Alrighty, well thank you very much for that question, Max. I do appreciate it. Now, question 2 today comes to us from JP LaBouffe, and it's about listening to the back catalog of Smart Poker Study episodes. So here's what JP said. I'm presently listening to your podcast. I have listened to the first 12 so far. Should I skip the rest and go to the last one and work my way backwards? Thanks. Alrighty, well, thank you for that question, JP. Now, I recommend that you listen to each new episode as it comes out, but still listen to the old episodes going in order from 13 to 14 to 15 and so on. But for each episode that you listen to, you want to force yourself to do the challenge before you listen to the next one, right? I've always talked about it. Putting things into action is how you're going to actually learn them. If you just listen to episode after episode after episode, they're just not going to blend in and they're going to go in one ear and out the other, guaranteed. So here's what I recommend. Listen to that next episode, number 13. The challenge in that one was to do the 6 savers for yourself. Now, the savers were taken from Hal Elrod's book called The Miracle Morning, and it's all about doing things in the morning that help you throughout the day. And the savers, SAVERS, was silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So what I would recommend is you do this each day for a week and see how you like it. Then you listen to episode 14, and then you do that challenge. But I think in episode 14, I don't think I offered a challenge because it was an interview with Al Spath. So listen to that episode, and then go on to episode 15 and do that challenge about keeping a poker journal. Then move on to episode 16. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/smartpokerstudy. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from, and this is perfect for people who love to learn on the go. You love to learn while you're doing the dishes, you're mowing the lawn, you're walking the dog, or you're folding the laundry. There are so many ways to listen and learn while you're getting other stuff done. So please visit audibletrial.com/smartpokerstudy for a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial. And one quick shout out today, Vic purchased my Smart HUD for Poker Tracker 4. He went to smartpokerstudy.com/smarthud, picked up the HUD, and I'm hoping by now he's already putting it into use to crush his opponents. And you could do the exact same thing. Just visit that link or go to the show notes page, click on it, purchase a Smart HUD. Along with the Smart HUD, like always, I sent Vic a few different videos for Poker Tracker 4 and Smart HUD related videos to help him get the most out of that software. So thank you, Vic, for the support. Do you want to quit your job and live the life of your dreams? Well, MasterPassiveIncome.com teaches you how to invest in real estate rental properties, which allows you to make money even while you sleep. My brother Dusty is the founder of MasterPassiveIncome.com. He was able to quit his job at just 37 years old, and he can teach you how to do the same. With his guidance through the blog, podcast, free courses, and community groups, you will learn what it takes to buy a property and make monthly cash flow from it, which could allow you to never need a job again. So go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course to get your free real estate investing course that's going to get you started investing in real estate, just like the rich do. So don't wait. Go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course right now to get your free real estate investing course. Alrighty, back to class, poker peeps. Question 3 today comes to us from Tony Bianco. Here's what he says. Playing live $1, $2 at a local casino that just opened up, and I just want to show a profit in the long run. In 10 visits, I'm up around $300, but have been basically a break-even player over the last 3 years. The difference has come from being more aggressive pre-flop and on later streets. I still have problems when people donk into me, and I think I fold too much when I should stay in with a call or a raise. Alrighty, thank you very much for your email, Tony. I appreciate it. When it comes to overfolding post-flop and not knowing what to do when facing a donk bet, those are super common issues, not just live, but online as well. MTTs, cash game sit and goes, those are just the kinds of things that often people suffer from, right? So what I want you to do, Tony, is to make a goal over the next few weeks that you will take note of 3 to 5 different hands each session that you play. Now, these hands need to go to Showdown, and hopefully they have some kind of a bet or a raise on the turn or the river, or possibly a donk bet on any of the given streets, right? If these are your issues, overfolding is an issue. That means you're facing bets and raises that you maybe don't know how to react to, and being donk or facing donk bets being a problem too. You really want to study these kinds of hands. So pay attention to every showdown, regardless of you being in the hand or not, right? I want you to take notes on your cell phone using Evernote, or maybe your favorite note-taking app if you don't use Evernote. And I recommend that you do this so people don't know that you're recording hands, right? Like, you don't really want them to know that you're working on your game as diligently as you are. So use your cell phone, pretend that you're freaking texting people or whatever, and don't let them know what you're doing. So the reason why you are recording these hands is because you want to figure out what your opponents are betting or raising with post-flop, and also, of course, what they're donk betting with. Now, my guess is that most of the big bets and raises are with 2-pair or better hands, unless they're like an aggressive player who likes to bet or raise as bluffs with their nut flush draws or open-ended straight draws. That can be the case too. And also, when it comes to the donk bets, those are often going to be blocking bets with some kind of draws, or maybe weaker pairs hoping that you fold or check on the next street. So for each hand that you observe, write the names and the player types of the players involved. You want to try to figure out what the different player types in the games that you play make their plays with. So the aggressive players might be doing those bets and raises, like I said, with draws, whereas the tighter And the more stationary players will only be making those maybe with the 2 pair or greater, right? Oh, it's also key that you pay attention to bet sizing. You might find that Bob over there, he always donks half pot with his draws, but he bets 2/3 or greater pot with solid made hands. When you notice bet sizing tells like this, it can help you to just basically exploit this opponent in the future. When he donks half pot again, you just automatically come in with a 1.5 times raise. If he donks like $10 into you, automatically just raise that to $25. Most likely he'll be folding if you've established, or if he's established, a pattern of half pot donk bets as bluffs, So with each of these hands that you record, when you get home, whip out Flopzilla or something, you're going to do a hand reading practice. So assign your opponent a range pre-flop, then narrow that range through the streets based on their actions. Just pay particular attention to what they bet or raised with or donk bet with on the various streets and what the board was at the time. And try to make a spreadsheet detailing what your opponents had when they made different plays and the sizings they used, right? You want to try to find patterns to exploit in the future. All right, thanks again for that question, Tony. I do appreciate it. So question 4 today comes to us from Anish Weld, and it's about playing Jack 10 offsuit. Very simple question. Here's what Anish said. How should I play Jack 10 offsuit pre-flop? And then if the flop comes with all undercards, what should I do? Well, thank you very much for the question, Anish. Now, I'll be honest, Jack 10 offsuit is not in any of my ranges pre-flop. I don't open raise, nor do I call raises. I don't 3-bet bluff with it, and I definitely don't 3-bet for value with it, right? It's the kind of hand that can get you in more trouble than it's worth. But if you choose to play it, hopefully you're doing it as the pre-flop raiser from the cutoff or the button or the small blind with the goal of stealing the pot. You don't want to call a raise, and you don't want to defend your blinds with that hand. And if you open raise, then you face a 3-bet, hopefully you're just folding. So, as the pre-flop raiser with Jack 10 on an all undercard board, like let's say 7-6 deuce, right? I would make a c-bet when you're in position just as a one-time bluff. Boards like 7-6 deuce, 8-6 deuce, 9-3 deuce, they're all hard to hit boards, and if you bet enough to get overcards and those random ace X and king X hands to fold, you're making the right play. And if you're out of position, the best play is likely just to check and then fold, unless your opponent folds a lot to c-bets, then go ahead and make that out of position c-bet. Challenge! Here's my challenge to you for this episode. Get over your poker study apathy. Re-listen to my answer to question 1 and then try those 3 steps that I gave to Max. Number 1 was commit to 10 minutes of study per day. Number 2 is to consume 1 piece of content, then put 1 thing into action. And number 3 was to pick the book you most want to study from and do 1 chapter per week. Now it's your turn to pull the trigger and do something positive for your poker game.
You better wake up. The world you live in is just a sugar-coated topping. There is another world beneath it, the real world. And if you want to survive it, you better learn to pull the trigger.
This episode isn't complete until you head to the show notes page at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod206. Go there for screenshots and links to everything discussed today and to discover ways in which you can support the podcast. Well, thank you so much for listening today. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe and leave a review within your favorite podcasting app. This is the best way, other than direct word of mouth, that you can help the show grow. And if you could type or say the word Smart Poker Study, you can find me on Alexa, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And if you have questions, I have answers. Send an email to sky@smartpokerstudy.com. Alrighty, poker people, next week in episode 207, I'm going to give you a new list of 5 areas that you must focus on. And this is going to be geared towards aspiring poker profit makers. Yepers, you want to earn additional income from poker? And these 5 areas are key for your success. So word of mouth is the best advertising. And thank you very much for sharing the show with other poker people. Your sharing and caring is what helps us grow. So until next time, study smart, play much, and make your next session the best one yet.